It's Tuesday, September 7th. Time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Barbados has recorded another gun-related death. Police say a man was discovered motionless on the ground following a volley of gunshots at St. Paul's Avenue, Bayville, St. Michael last night. Police spokesman Acting Inspector Rodney Innes said another young man was also reportedly injured during the incident and was transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for medical treatment via private vehicle. The incident was reported to the Police Operations Control Room around 10 minutes past 10 on Monday night. Investigations are continuing, and you can check the Barbados Today website and all our social media platforms for the latest on this story. In other news, the Ministry of Education has developed a new framework to replace the Barbados Secondary School Entrance Examination, also known as the 11 Plus exam. Word of this from Director of Education Reform, Dr. Ida May Denny. Speaking at a press conference on Monday, she said the public would be given an update on its progress by month end.
We have already developed a draft framework for the new structure of the system. I know most people would have heard the government say that we are looking to get rid of the common entrance. We are looking at development of a new structure that takes the interests and the needs of all of our students into consideration. And I know Barbados is wondering what is happening in that regard. So we have developed a draft framework, which we are discussing internally now, and which we intend to bring to our stakeholders very, very shortly. Our stakeholders being our schools, our principals and our teachers, and then the general public. And once we have had feedback from these consultations, then we are going to make some final decisions which we will communicate to Barbados during the course of the upcoming year so that you are aware of how we plan to pursue the change in the structure of the system.
Dr. Denny also disclosed that officials will also mulling over the introduction of a lower first form in a bid to make up for the educational deficits suffered by students during the COVID-19 pandemic.
One of the plans that we were putting to the secondary principals is that they might have to institute lower first forms in order to deal with some of the deficits that the children came to them experiencing. So the ministry is fully in support of it because it is a suggestion that came from the ministry at the outset. And we are not saying that all schools should do this, but we are saying that when those secondary schools get the list of children who have been assigned to them in the coming days, that they need to look at both the item analysis, the content analysis, and the performance of the students that have been assigned to them and make decisions as to whether they will need to institute lower first. There are some who will definitely have to do it. There are others who may be able to get by without doing it, but we are fully in support of it.
The price of livestock feed in Barbados has decreased by 8%, and Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Indawe on Monday said he hopes the reduction will be passed on to consumers. Emmanuel Joseph has more in this report.
Minister Weir was responding to an announcement made on Monday by Managing Director of Pinnacle Feast Jason Zambrano, who disclosed that effective yesterday Monday, the price of livestock feed that is sold to farmers will drop from 19% to 11%. Zambrano, who is also Chief Executive Officer of Roberts Manufacturing, said the new price will last for 3 months as a result of a price support by the government.
We have adjusted our prices effective today from what we had done back on the 9th of August. So it has moved from an average 19% increase, which was on the 9th of August, and now an average 11% increase, which is effective today through some last-minute discussions with the government on the price support. So it will be a 3-month price support from September. I think think it's a very, it's a sign, a very positive sign that the government sees the livestock industry as an important aspect of the economic fabric of Barbados.
Minister Ware recalled that last Tuesday Parliament approved a $2 million supplementary to continue its price support for livestock farmers after negotiating with Pinnacle Feeds a reduction in that company's proposed 26% hike in feed cost.
I'm happy to note that Pinnacle has actually kept their word and bring down the increase to where we have agreed. You do recall that last Tuesday in Parliament we did a supplementary to continue the price support for the farmers. The livestock subsector certainly was under extreme pressure with the proposed 26% increase in price of feed. And we were able to negotiate with them to get the price down and to continue the price support to the livestock farmers of Barbados. Obviously, the consumers now will see a reduction in price at the point of retail, and I sincerely hope that everybody will keep their word and make sure, just like Pinnacle did, that they bring the prices back down.
While Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, welcomed the slash in the price to farmers, he cautioned consumers not to expect this to be passed on to them all at once with immediate effect.
It will depend on the individual establishment in terms of where their cost profiles are. I can't say that at the moment. As I said before, farmers have been reeling from extremely high costs, and even since the cost of feed has gone up, you would have heard there would be some increase. Of course, we got to respect this week on the cost of diesel, but only 1 cent per liter, which gallon, whatever it is, but that doesn't say a lot, okay? But the point is really that it is tight all around. It is very tight, and it really depends on the individual operator. Some operators might want to accommodate and say, okay, let's see how much we can do, but others might not have the margins in order to be able to be very flexible when it comes to price.
And I'm Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
Communication on Barbados's COVID-19 testing process will be made a priority as tourism authorities seek to intensify their global marketing efforts to lure more visitors. That's according to Chairman of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Roseanne Myers. It comes on the heels of a recent outcry by some visitors who experienced major delays in receiving their test results. Here is Emmanuel Joseph once again.
Some of the visitors complained that the health authorities had promised their results would be ready within 24 to 48 hours, which would be in time for the departure. However, the tourists became stranded at the Grantley Adams International Airport and missed their flight because the test results were not ready for them. But in apologizing to all concerned, Myers said the BTMI is committed to ensuring it capitalized on the pent-up demand seen in all markets and will continue its aggressive marketing efforts to support the economy. As a priority, the state agency says its communications will include information for travelers on the expanded testing for inbound and outbound travel utilizing private and public providers. She told Barbados Today that the BTMI's website has a list of options which authorities are encouraging all to explore. Myers is encouraging travelers, including Barbadians, to use the marketing agency's customer care hotline, which has been in place since 2020 to respond to all queries. I'm Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, the Guyana government on Monday defended its decision to extend COVID-19 vaccine requirements to incorporate public buildings, including those privately owned. More from News Source Guyana.
Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today defended the government's move over the weekend to amend Section 17 of the COVID-19 health regulations, which now makes it a requirement for persons to prove vaccination against COVID-19 or produce a negative COVID-19 PCR test result in order to gain entry to any public building, including privately owned ones and businesses. The health minister said the move is a necessary one to keep the country safe. The move has widely been criticized, with the opposition labeling the new measures as authoritative. The health minister does not agree.
It is one way of ensuring that the environments in the public are much safer, because if you have vaccinated people, then the chances are we'll have a much safer environment when we visit those places.
The updated regulations now mean that persons who want to visit the markets and supermarkets, stores, private hospitals, banks, utility companies, and all other private businesses and institutions, including places of worship, would now have to be vaccinated or show proof of a negative COVID-19 PCR test result. Some commercial banks and other businesses have already signaled their intention to abide by the new guidelines. Others have not.
And it's not only for the people who are accessing the service, it's also for the people who are working there. Because we have to create a safe environment if we are going to push back against the COVID-19 disease.
And on the international front, the Taliban has declared a victory over a province northeast of the capital, Kabul. More from CBS News.
Taliban fighters raised their flag in the Panjshir Valley today, a declaration of victory over the last region to fall under Taliban control. The last hideout of the enemy has been captured, a triumphant Taliban spokesman told a news conference. The war is over, but the mass exodus continues, and among the tens of thousands desperate to flee overland, State Department officials tell CBS News an American family of 4 got across today, and the Taliban did not stand in their way. But dozens more Americans remain stranded here. Satellite images of the Mazar-e-Sharif airport north of Kabul show 6 commercial aircraft on the tarmac amid accusations they've been grounded by the Taliban.
The Taliban is holding them hostage for demands right now. The state has cleared these flights, and the Taliban will not let them leave the airport.
The Taliban deny the claims.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.